Happy Sunday and a very warm welcome to you wherever you're watching us from. What legal options do investors have when it comes to buying properties? Today we talk to a commercial lawyer who enlightens us in some of these options and what even goes to court means for you. Is there any help there? You want to stick around for that conversation. A little later on, one of the ways to make your room look expensive and cozy is by changing your curtains. Today, we have an expert to show us just how we can improve on the looks and feel of your room by buying the right fabric. But first, let's have a look at our property of the week, the Runda Gardens townhouses in Runda. Runda Gardens comprises of beautiful and luxurious 4-bedroom all-en-suite villas, each with a mature, tastefully manicured garden sitting on 1/8 of an acre. Thanks to its premium location, Runda Gardens stands out as a lush gated community of 120 units with 4-bedroom villas and world-class amenities. The community has been crafted to offer convenience and luxury. Its front doors unfastened to a spacious lounge which has the guest cloakroom and kitchen separated on either side by a small hallway. The lounge has a double volume roof to allow in more light, and large windows come door, also giving into more light into the room and fresh air. The lounge floor is made of wood to create warm effects as its focal point is directed towards the television area. The dining area is set for 6 or more, overlooking a closed kitchen. The kitchen has a breakfast area, a place for light meals, usually near a kitchen with built-in table and seats. This modern kitchen consists of imported MDF cabinetries which are spread out in the kitchen above and below, providing the kitchen ample storage space. In addition, there's a double sink, kitchen oven with a kitchen hood and a fitted fridge area. A staircase connects the ground floor to the main TV area and 2 bedrooms found on the first floor of the townhouse. The master bedroom, which is the principal bedroom in the house, is usually the largest, typically occupied by the person or persons who head the household. It must be luxurious, intimate, serene, sophisticated, fresh, and inviting, such as this. The master bedroom is en suite with large veranda overlooking the beautiful surrounding neighborhood. This development has the following features: a swimming pool, perimeter wall with electric fencing, equipped gym, cabro-paved parking, ample parking, borehole, large storage tanks, community center, a jogging track, playing ground for the kids, and manicured gardens. The location is excellent as its close proximity to shopping malls, international schools, among others. When the sun is out, it's a beautiful day to pass by the open house at Runda Gardens on Kwaheri Road to experience the height of peaceful living. These spacious 3-story 4-bedroom townhouses are available for 37 million shillings in Runda. Curtains have a dramatic impact upon the look and feel of your home, and they are arguably one of the most important interior investments you can make while decorating or redecorating your rooms. Before you go ahead and purchase curtains, there are a couple of things that have to be well thought and accessed beforehand.
The curtains, essentially, they're used for covering they're used to protect the light from the outside into the house, and they're also there to offer the element of beauty and to accessorize the seats. There are different types of curtains. We have the blackout curtains, we have the light curtains, and we have the heavy shears curtains. Blackout curtains, these are the types of curtains that come with an element at the back that insulates the light, as in to protect the light from coming to the room. Then we have the normal curtains, which are light in nature, then they drape nicely. Then you have the shears. The shears, some call them the blinds. They are called the curtain. So you normally have both. You put the curtains in front, then the shears at the back. So during the day, you draw the curtains on the sides and you display the shears.
In today's segment, we will tackle what you need to consider before you invest in curtains.
First, you have to base on his or her budget is what determines most, and the types of the house and how big the windows are.
People install different variety of pieces on their house or office windows depending on what they want to achieve.
There are two types of putting the curtains. First, we got this one whereby we use the curtain rod, then we put the hooks. You see the way they are. This one we use the hooks. Then we have another type with another style whereby we use the eyelets. So this is the modern style at the moment. People prefer to use this kind of style because the curtains drape nicely. We have this is among those type of planes. This is egg yellow. Those who want bright color. It drapes nicely. You see the way it drapes. It's a good fabric. Then we have this one with the patterns. It's ideal for the TV room, either TV room or guest rooms. So when you are choosing the curtain based on these, the kind of seats or the carpets you have, it comes out nicely.
There are other pieces that can be incorporated on the windows other than curtains, for instance, drapers, shades and blinds.
There are two types of blinds. We have vertical blinds and we have Venetian blinds. These are normally used in the offices. And we also have curtains. The curtains are used to cover, to bring that opaque element on the windows, as it to block the lights into the houses. Yeah, and they also, as I said before, they also added the beauty element in the house. Draper, those are just like pieces of shears. They are used to decorate the place. We got the plain ones, like this one. This plain white. It also comes in cream. Then we have the patterned. Same type of shape but comes in different designs. See, like these ones. This blue, this maroon, green, then chocolate.
I hope you've learned something or two about curtains and what to consider before investing in them. We host a commercial lawyer to enlighten us on some of the obligations between developers and investors, in this case the buyers in property. Karibu sana, Kevin.
Thank you, Jamila. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah,
Kevin
so these issues are with us now, and we cannot hide our faces in the ground anymore and pretend that bad things are not happening to people who were not aware. So I come to you as a developer, or I assume that because I think you can sell me a house, I commit to give you my money in the hope that you deliver a house to me. Then that doesn't happen. What legal redress do I have, if any?
Jamila, it depends on which sort of house you're buying. There are different kinds of plans you can be purchasing as a buyer. There's what we call the off plan, where you're buying a house that does not exist as the time you're buying. And then there are on plans, where you're buying houses that have already been completed. and both of these have different dynamics. When you're purchasing a property that is on plan, you've given me your money and I fail to deliver, the contract will stipulate what are the measures or the redress or the recourse I can take. One of them being what we call special performance. You approach court and you tell the court that I have done my bit of the contract. I have paid the purchase price. I have fulfilled my end of the bargain. But the seller has refused to release the house to me.
Okay.
That is, you approach the court for the orders called special performance, and the court will grant you the house, will compel the seller to give you the property, both the title and the vacant possession of the property.
Okay.
Now that is different from off-plan.
All right.
Now in off-plan, a simple definition of off-plan is, one, you're purchasing a property that you have not seen, does not exist.
It doesn't.
Secondly, you're purchasing property that has artistic impression.
Yes.
And thirdly, you're offering money to something that you do not know when
it's by
it will
faith.
be completed.
Yes.
It's by faith.
Yes.
As to how you would recover or the recourse you will take is dependent on, one, what due diligence did you take before you committed yourself. Have you looked at the company, the nature of the company, the history of the company? Is it a company that is that has a history of delivering, or is it a company that has a history of defaulting?
Okay.
And a company can deliver one project and then it fails on several.
Yeah.
If a developer has had history of success, you still have to ask your questions. What kind of success? Is it success that has been forced? Success that has been attained after numerous delays, after numerous completion, after numerous what I call defaults?
Okay.
Because that will also point you to a direction. Before you make a decision, you will say
some red flags.
The red flags, yes.
Yeah.
You will commit yourself knowing that it is possible they will not deliver. And if you don't do your due diligence, you will invest your money in a company or a person who does not have anything. You
have a lawyer as a buyer, and I have a lawyer as the developer, the person saying I will sell you a house. And there's a contract between us. There's a contract.
There's a contract, yes.
Even if it was what do you call? Even if it was a verbal agreement, I told you, or I assume that because you have built for someone or you have given a promise to a group of people, you will be able to deliver to us. And with that alone, I go ahead and give you this money. There's a contract, something written.
Yes.
How is it then that you don't deliver yet there's a contract? Isn't that breach of contract, and what should I do?
Yes.
Because that's what we're dealing with right now.
Yes, yes. With regard to off plans, I look at their contracts. Most, if not all, contracts relating to off plans. You'll see that they lean in favor of the developer more than the buyer. I'll give you an example. If you enter into an agreement with a developer, in any contract there's something called a termination clause, where if you feel one party is not delivering, you have the option to terminate the contract. With regard to off plans, most of the time you'll realize that the termination clause is in favor of the developer, so that if they delay in whatever manner, then you are the one who will be burdened in terminating in this way. When you communicate to them that you want to terminate, they will tell you, one, we will not give you your money now.
Yeah.
Okay? Look for a buyer to replace you. So the onus is on you to look for a buyer.
That's
it
nasty.
is not on them.
Okay.
Okay? Secondly, they may tell you, okay, we have received your termination notice, but we will not pay you until we complete.
Okay.
We do not know when the completion will be done. It may be 5 years, 10
You're
years.
You're at their mercy.
You are at their mercy.
This is not right.
It is not. And that's why the first recourse after due diligence is look at the contract. The second recourse, sorry. Look at the contract that you are entering into. what are the terms of the contract. If you engage a lawyer, then they will advise you to renegotiate. A contract is a document where persons negotiate.
Yeah.
If I feel that the contract does not favor me, I can propose changes which will favor me. And most of the time you will see buyers of off-plans, because they have been lured by the low prices of the properties. They do not go into the nitty-gritty, for example, of the contract. What does the contract stipulate?
Yeah.
They quickly sign away and commit themselves to the contract.
Okay. So I have checked. I've seen this big name, this big developer. Yeah. Known people. And I've gone ahead and I've committed my money. I'm told in the next 12 months, in 24 months, I should be the new owner of this apartment. Then that doesn't happen. What are my legal options?
In Kenya, unfortunately, you'll have to go to court. And court in Kenya, we are talking about minimum of 5 years. Before the court awards you anything, minimum of 5 years.
What?
Minimum of 5 years. If you go to the environment
what
and land
happens
court,
in those 5 years?
5 years. If you go in Kenya, the constitution establishes what we call the environment and land court, which is a court dealing with ownership of property and such like disputes. Currently, the courts are overwhelmed. A matter that is filed in 2019 will probably have its first hearing in 2021. That is minus the applications that will be made. The
That's
numerous
ridiculous.
applications. Yes, it is. So you see, once you have committed yourself and the project has failed, and the court is your only recourse, it's bad.
Oh no.
It's bad. That's why you have to protect yourself before. The closest the law comes to protecting you as a buyer is what we call registering your interests. Where once you pay your deposit, you go to the lands and you register what is called purchaser's interest. So once the developer defaults, the banks will come to auction the property. Now there are two scenarios. If you registered your purchaser's interest before the developer borrowed from the bank, when the bank sells this property, your interest will be considered.
Okay.
They cannot wish away your interest.
Okay.
The second scenario is where you register your interest after the developer has borrowed the loan. In this instance, you are at the mercy of the bank again.
Wow.
You can enter negotiations with the bank and say, I've already paid 50% of the entire purchase price. Can we enter into an agreement? I pay you directly and I remain with the property.
Yeah.
The bank may say yes, the bank may say no. It's entirely at their prerogative.
Okay.
Yes. The other persons that can protect the buyer are our parliamentarians, the people who make the law.
Those guys.
The people who make the law.
Okay.
They can make law. Seeing as it is that many projects are failing, and Kenyans with their hard
It's
earned
become the norm.
It's becoming the norm. And Kenyans are losing their hard earned cash.
It's frustrating.
You have invested for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you invest and your property and the developer goes bankrupt.
Yeah.
There should be law developed or enacted to protect the common man. The law that is to be enacted should first state, one, what is done to the deposit.
Yes.
Is it held as an escrow? Is it held with the developer? Is it channeled to the development? That law should stipulate, for the protection of the buyer, it should stipulate that the deposits paid by the buyer are to be held in an escrow.
How does this escrow, first of all, come about?
The escrow comes about, the developer has an advocate, a lawyer, sorry. You as a buyer, you are supposed to have your own lawyer, independent lawyer. Most of the developers will suggest their lawyers, but you should have your own independent lawyer, okay? That independent lawyer and the developer's lawyer open what is called a joint bank account.
Okay.
And the money that you pay a deposit in that joint bank account.
Okay.
And it will earn interest. If the developer completes, the money will go to him plus the interest. If he defaults, the money you have paid to you, the money you have deposited will come back to you with interest. Because Jamila,
Really?
the money you have, the money, 100 bob now is not the same as 100 bob next week.
No.
It's not the same.
It should.
It should not be the same. It should add value. That's why, if such a law comes into force, the buyer will be protected.
What would you advise? Because people want to own homes, you know.
Before you go into any off-plan contract, what company are you engaging with? And in company, I mean, who is the developer? Ask yourself, one, are they engaging in one development at a time or numerous at a time? If they're engaging in numerous at a time, there are higher chances that you'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble, yes. Higher chances, as opposed to if a company decides, let me construct this first, I complete it, then I go to the next project. You'll be safer. And then from there, then you go to the contract that will bind the two of you. Okay. Negotiate the terms of the contract. You'll not be forced into a contract. You can negotiate depending on the developer. But again, as they say, the developer has the higher financial muscle than you. So, in any negotiations where one party has higher financial muscle, you'll find that the person who has a higher financial muscle will tilt the contract in their favor. It's unfortunate. But it's worth giving it a go, so that once you have done this and you have committed yourself, you have protective mechanism that in case of default, you have a recourse. Then thirdly, we can engage the parliament to enact a law.
Thanks so much, Kevin, for your time.
Thank you, Jamila.
Really appreciate it. Yeah. And that's all the time we had for you on today's edition of the show. Remember, do your due diligence. It's very important. It's your responsibility, not someone else's, to take care of your interests first before you put pen to paper. Until next time, I've been your host, Jamila Mbogwa. Remember to also talk to us on our social media handles at Jamila Mbogwa and at NTV Property Show. Hadi mara nyingine, asante sana.